So we are talking about the starting work on the next breaking series. So that's the next set of model changes that should hopefully be released later this year. We don't have a clear date at the moment. So this is mostly the work that's been done and included in the last 2 months, both on the back end, so the model bioformats server side, and also on the client side. And this will be demoed by Peter.
Okay, thank you, Seb. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the today's demo of the new features on ROI Folders. The program will be as follows. We go through 3 main workflows which are to date in place concerning ROI folders. First of all, we will create some OME-TIF, which has the ROIs as well as the ROI folders written into the OME XML header. And then the second way to deal with the ROI folders, which we will go through, is to create folders via Commandline Interface. And lastly, and also intermediately between those 2 points, we will be familiarizing ourselves with the ROI folders creating and handling potential in the inside. Let's go to the first. This is chronologically first workflow, which was created by Mark, and we have basically workflow consisting of drawing ROIs in Omero Insight on an image. That's the first necessary step. We can't draw ROIs on the command line. We export this image as OME-TIF, and this will take the will export the ROIs as well. Then further, we will use script, which is noted here, which creates from a taxonomy of your choosing an OME XML blob, and you will insert this blob into the OME-TIF you just exported in this second step. Then you have to insert into the OME XML as well a ROI folder link. And finally, import the OME-TIF again into Omero. This doesn't sound like a nice workflow, but it has some advantages. I will try to point to them. So let's have an image in a group in Omero. Just as this. You might wonder why it's so black. It's because you will enjoy it like that better.
You enjoy music. You will enjoy it. You must.
Yeah, sorry about that. So this is basically what is on the image. There are cells. If you, I'm sorry, I didn't come up with a better idea how to make sure that you will see the ROIs, which are now more important. I will make the image black again, and I have created. Okay, let's let's reopen it. Yes, save the rendering settings. Now it's black as I want it. And let's go. So you can still faintly see the cells. I basically put a cross to each cell. Of course, these are very artificial workflows, and thus created plenty of regions. Now I can imagine that the scientist would like to sort those regions into a fairly complex ontology, which is actually not up to him. So he has to take the ontology from somewhere. In our case, we took it from Josh, where he wants to import this ontology into Omero and then sort his regions of interest into the ontology tree. And because the ontology is fairly complex, as I said, this is where the workflow number 1 comes to play. I just said you will have an image which you exported from Omero. So imagine this would be an image like this with some regions. It's another one, but this is also beauty of that. It actually doesn't matter which one you will use in the workflow, which is highlighted here. Main thing is that it has at least one region of interest. If you have such image, you exported it from Omero as OME-TIFF with this region of interest written in the header, you will do this. I will not do that in front of you because you can see what the output is. You have basically an ontology written in a normal form with lines and intercalated subfolders with lines of folders and so on. That's what I got into these folder structures. Okay. I mean, it would be really painful to create that manually in Insight. You can see what depth of folders and subfolders. We can have as many subfolders as we like. We are just getting after going through these steps on every image in this group. Now let's select a couple of those points, and this is already going over to actually some Insight features, the UI features, and okay, with a right-click menu, if you have a mouse, you could right-click. That's an interesting thing that I can't right-click on it without, well, but so be it. Normally, if you right-click, you would get all those folders selected. Now, once more, I right-click and got Add to Folder. And this is one of those point regions. I will add it. I will have to have a look what is happening there as I don't have the mouse. You understand the first workflow, which is putting the ROIs and folders into the OME XML. Now, a second workflow I might choose to do is to create ROI folders via Commandline Interface. Again, as I said, I have to draw some ROIs on an image in Omero. Let's have some image with ROIs. And I will go to another group. Again, just once more, this is because the folders are per group and I want to have a clean table now. This is simply an image with 3 ROIs. 1, 2, 3. Nothing special about that. I don't have to export it now in this workflow. What I have to do is to remember the ID number 112 and go to CLI, where Mark prepared some scripts to manipulate, create a hierarchy of the ROI folders via Command Line Interface using HQL. So first of all, let me just refresh it here and have the folders here. So this is basically the result of the work on the command line. As you saw, I stubbornly started to link just one of those ROIs, and we have a feature inside at the moment. Again, open to discussion or whatever. We don't mix folders and ROIs, meaning a folder can contain either other subfolders or it can contain ROIs. So we don't do, it contains both folders and ROIs. And that's why I think I don't see the folder which I wrongly linked to the organism. Oh yeah, I actually linked a small amount of folders, the best. So these are some ROIs. Mind you, these are ROIs which don't come from Omero. These were imported into Omero, and Dominic did a very good job in making sure that actually now all types of ROIs and folders work. I mean, types. It doesn't matter where you created the folder, and you can still interact with them here in the UI freely without bugs. What probably the user would like to do is to create new ROIs, let's say points, and they are appearing here, so they are, so to say, orphaned. Then select those points and okay, and add them to a folder. You don't have to save the points before you do that, and you can create a new folder in this stage. I will call the folder points, add it to the right hand side. This is exactly the tagging dialog workflow, and save. This will discussed during the design stages was the filtering, one probably of the more important ones. I was suggesting also view all and deselect all button.
At the beginning, you mentioned that's obviously a group feature, but it's like any object in the database, you will have a user associated to it. So you load at the moment, you load all the ROI folder regardless of
regardless if